So, today I tried to record a chapter of a book, an audiobook. The audiobook was a book that film crit Hulk, that critic I mentioned a bunch of episodes ago. He wrote a book called Screenwriting 101 that teaches you the basics of screenwriting and what to actually look for when you're writing a story and how to actually do it correctly and what the philosophy is toward it. A lot of interesting stuff in there. So I went, and I've always kind of wanted to record an audiobook of it. So I tried to record a chapter of the book. And I kind of ran into a problem. Like I found myself really desperately repeating myself over and over again at certain lines. And that usually happens at certain audiobooks. But that's not really what the problem that I ran into. The problem I ran into was after I recorded it. I listened back to some of it, and it sounded kind of dumb, and I didn't like it, so I'm probably not going to upload it anywhere. But after I recorded it also, my jaw hurt, and the muscles that move my jaw and the muscles that move, my whole mouth, my whole face just hurt after recording it. It was because I tried so hard to pronounce the words correctly and to articulate my mouth in a way that made the words sound like they were properly announced or whatever. And I think, and it made me kind of curious because I don't think it makes sense that after an hour of talking that your jaw would hurt, right? That doesn't seem to make sense because I've talked with people for longer than an hour and my jaw never hurt then. So maybe, I thought that maybe I was talking wrong or something. So I took a book, a random book that I had laying around and just started reading it out loud. And I noticed that it was very, very difficult for me to read it out loud, with a loud voice, give it a yelly voice. I could read it in a soft voice, and I was wondering why. It was just very, very difficult to read it very loud, but it was very easy to read it in a soft voice. And I could read it really fast. I could move across the words really fast and understand what was going on and follow it and read it as long as I was speaking soft. But I didn't understand why, and so I eventually figured it out. What it was. What it was that when I read out loud, I was moving my jaw a lot more than I should have moved my jaw. I was focusing on a different part of my mouth to speak than when I read softly. And I figured out that because it felt awkward and weird to speak softly with a loud voice, I guess. And so I don't know how to explain this. It's very difficult to explain, but it's more like I was using my tongue to read when I spoke softly. I wasn't really moving my jaw around that much. I was just using my tongue most of the time because most of the speech that happens in speech comes from the tongue movement and the tongue touching different parts of the mouth. That's the most important part. And if you don't focus on that part, you could probably take away most of the other things and you would still be able to say most things if you had your tongue. So I figured out that, if I focus on using my tongue while reading something and just make the voice louder, I don't know, for some reason I had the connection of if I'm talking loudly, I need to have my mouth wider open. And so my tongue, I don't know what my tongue was doing because this is all unconscious. I don't even know if you understand what I'm saying. This is so confusing. But when I don't know. It's just I figured out that what I have to do is I have to speak with a loud voice, but use my tongue to speak and not use my jaw, because I would use my jaw to speak whenever I spoke with a loud voice, and that's why it came out wrong. That's why I couldn't speak fast like I could when I was speaking soft. And so that's what I've learned. And so I practiced reading some stuff, and it felt really good because I read it really fast and really loud, and it was good, and it was fun. And so maybe eventually I'll be able to build this skill into a useful thing. If I ever plan on making any more YouTube videos, I'll be able to read whatever script I write for the YouTube video very quickly and with a silver tongue. I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be cool. I guess that's all I have to say right now. It's kind of late. It's 10:44, and I need to get to bed because I need to wake up early tomorrow. So this is another one of those episodes of the Kokino Podcast that is half the length of one of the classic episodes, 5 minutes, which I think is a decent amount of time to be listening to a podcast. made by one person, one video a day. So, I guess I will see you guys later, and I hope you enjoyed this. Leave a comment if you want.